Last week, lawmakers in Springfield heard Senate Bill 2895. It would make it easier for prospective adoptive parents to get a full unredacted copy of the child's case record before adoption is finalized. State Senator Darby Hills from Barrington Hills is a co-sponsor of that bill, and she's joining us now today to talk a little bit more about how this would work. Tell me first how you became aware that this was an issue.
Well, thank you for having me, Lourdes. So, first of all, this bill, 2895, it came to me from one of my constituents. She is a mother of three. She adopted her three children from foster care, from a local recruitment agency, actually also in my district, called Let It Be Us. And two of her children were older when she adopted them, and one of them was a newborn. They're all siblings. And she brought it to my attention that she was not able to get access to their records to find out anything about their history. She was devastated to not be able to tell her children what their first word was, when they first walked, anything about their history. And every child deserves their story. So I was honored to be able to work on this legislation. I was able to get agreed language with DCFS and the Chicago Bar Association and all the stakeholders. It was passed unanimously through the Child Welfare Committee. I'm the minority spokesperson for child welfare. And it also is bipartisan. Actually, my chief co-sponsor, Senator Collins, and I, after hearing the testimony in committee, said she wants to be a chief co-sponsor. So It's a really great bill, and I'm really excited to be able to carry it.
And I do have to say it was incredibly moving to hear that testimony from your constituent. And I've got to think that a lot of people probably thought that individuals who were adopting a child were already getting some of this information, but you're telling me that's not the case. They only get a sliver of info.
Yeah, so if under the current law, families that adopt their children from foster care, not from the biological parents, but from foster care, cannot get access to some of these records. They'll get medical records, but they don't have access to all these other records that really tells that child's story. And I was heartbroken to hear that from Melissa Kim Kunavan, my constituent. She is a very courageous, great advocate for this. And she mentioned that it wasn't just her. It was a lot of foster families that were not able to get this information. And I said, well, let's get some legislation going and make sure that we can address this.
And so is the issue from, social service agencies, is it a privacy issue that they just didn't want to give up too much information, fearing other privacy concerns?
No, not at all. Actually, it's completely in compliance with state and federal privacy laws. We make sure that all the information, names of the foster families and children in the foster care home, they're all redacted. It really was just a gap in the law, and something that when I brought it to the attention of DCFS and the Chicago Bar Association, they said, I can't believe we're not doing this already. So it was really my constituent coming to me and saying, I can't get these records and I want to be able to help my children heal. So a lot of her children, in her case, they were not able to remember some of their trauma. And she wanted to be able to get some records as well to help them through the healing process. And also just to give them a look into their life and fill in those gaps as a mother. As you can imagine how heartbreaking that would be. I'm a mother of three, to not be able to tell your children anything about their life before you adopted them.
Everybody wants to know. Okay, and I would imagine that if we're having an issue, or we were having an issue with it here in Illinois, where parents were not able to access some of this information, I've got to think it's happening throughout the country.
Yeah, actually, today there was adopted family, a couple agencies that contacted my district office, and they also were wanting to understand this legislation more, wanted to bring a national focus to it. So we're looking into that now. I'm not familiar with the other laws in the other states, but if that's the issue in any other state, we want to be helpful. This is a really important issue. And, foster kids go through a lot already, and we want to make sure that they have access to this so they can understand where they came from and be able to heal.
All right. Thank you so much, State Senator Darby Hills. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And if anybody wants to file a witness slip in support or learn more about this bill, please reach out to SenatorDarbyHills.com.
Okay. Sounds good. Have a good afternoon.
Thanks so much.